Hey everybody, welcome back to another movie review. Hope you guys been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. As you can tell, I'm a little dazzled up. Just wanted to dress up. Just going out tonight. Just wanted to look good. Um, and for some reason or another, I was actually finding myself a little bit more festive tonight. Don't know why. But, you just have one of those nights where you just want to look good. Um, but, okay, so Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which is the fifth installment of the Indiana Jones franchise, directed by James Mangold, who takes the reins over from Steven Spielberg, who originally was going to actually direct the fifth entry, but then decided to step away for, I forget what the reasoning was, but I think that he was working on West Side Story at the time, or he was working on something, scheduling conflicts, or, I don't believe it was creative differences. I mean, it's Spielberg's stuff, so I don't know how you would argue with Spielberg, but eventually, through different directing changes and through a couple of rewrites, which we'll get to that in a second, um, we now have the Dial of Destiny, which is being billed as the final Indiana Jones film, Harrison Ford's last time as Indy, and tells a story of, well, as you may expect from an Indiana Jones film, another globe-trotting adventure with Phoebe Waller-Bridge really as the center focus. As Harrison Ford, he's kind of sitting in a now in a retirement like setting. He's much older now, much more slower, and he's about to retire until he bumps into Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who plays Helena, who is the goddaughter to Indy, and she is being pursued by some old foes from Indy's past, namely Nazis. The villain played by Mads Mikkelsen, as they try to uncover this time capsule thing, the MacGuffin, basically, which basically has the power to go through time, so they can go forwards or backwards if they choose to. Um, and ultimately, what the film is trying to be about is about purpose and meaning, and about our place in the now versus then. Um, I think that that's what it's ultimately trying to do, especially through how they're billing Indiana Jones throughout this film, because without really giving much away, he's lost a lot. They explain something, which I won't spoil anything, but if you guys were curious, they do mention Shia LaBeouf, and it was expecting way of how they dealt with him, but it gives something of merit to Indy in the film. But as I said up front, though, this is not, as it's what I feared it would be. It's not an Indiana Jones film. What it is a Phoebe Waller-Bridge star. It's something of a stepping off point to what could be a spin-off, to what could be a television series. Because ultimately, Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford himself, is sidelined in the film, and I think that that is a really, really troubling thing, especially when your film is called Indiana Jones. Um, so I think that that really annoyed me, especially because like, if this is supposed to be Harrison Ford's last film, I would hope for him to have more screen time. But when you consider how old Harrison Ford is, which he's getting pretty old, um, you can't really have him do much of stunts. Really, I think he injured his shoulder again doing this film. Um, so it's a deceiving title, because it's not really about Indiana Jones when it's all said and done. Um, it's also an extremely uh, uh, it's a very contrived and very like there's so many conveniences that the narrative takes. Like, there is an exaggerated quality to all of the Indiana Jones films, which, what in some respects, and how Spielberg handles them, is what makes them so appealing and so charming. Like, you can get past the fact that, okay, Indy is able to do all these silly things and all these ridiculous stunts because of the way that Spielberg is handling the narrative and the approach to the characters. It feels realistic within these unrealistic, type of type of sequences. With this, everything just feels unrealistic, and I think that that also mostly boils down to how it's being approached. With the original films, and yes, I include the fourth one. I know that people don't like the fourth one, but I'm actually one of the few who will defend the fourth one. It was actually one of my early theater experiences, um, and I have good memories of it, and I still will go back to it, because the one thing that film has that this film doesn't is that the usage of practicality, because that's one of the great things about Indiana Jones is that when the action happens, yes, some of it is a bit nonsensical in terms when you try to put realistic thought, like realism into it, but it is just absolute fun and charm because of the fact that it's in camera. Like you're actually seeing it happen on film versus with this where it's just tons of CGI, tons of edits, and just it just makes everything very bland, very hard to view. By the way, it almost gets like Michael Bay type levels in terms of how it's filmed. Like there's just shaky cam and just whips and this and that, and um, it's a film that relies a lot on action. Like there's like plethora of action sequences that just for like I said, the main reason I believe of it due to a lack of practicality just falls flat. Like none of the sequences wowed me. I just didn't find any of them that memorable. It's nothing compared to Raiders of the Lost Ark's boulder sequence, or to the Temple of Dune's minecart chase, or the Last Crusade's motorcycle chase, or Kingdom of the Crystal Skull's jungle chase. Like there's like all four of those films, despite what you might think of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, have notable things to them because of how they're filmed, because of the fact that Spielberg has a level of craftsmanship and a certain approach to this character that is one of a kind. So when you have someone like James Mangold come in, my fears came true, which is that he didn't know how to handle this character, because Indy is Spielberg's baby. So when you hand it off to someone else, it doesn't feel like an organic, it doesn't feel like it's an earnest entry. It doesn't feel like it complements the other four. It feels very much so a standalone film, and much more, it feels like a spin-off. I mean, this feels very much so like a stepping off point for Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character, because the film dedicates so much time to her, and I just, and it's also not that hard of a film to figure out. Like it's not as mysterious, it's not that adventurous. You like, especially when you throw the idea of time travel, it's like, okay, well obviously we know how things are going to play out because of just the gimmick of time travel. So I think that it's a film loaded with conveniences that make it very generic, very mediocre, and the way that it all concludes, like my whole theater was just silent. Like they just, like the feeling that I got in the room was that people just didn't care, and and it's also way too long. It's like it stretches its thin, because it's a very thin premise when you think about it. Like just just the way that they approach it. Again, time travel. It's like, well, okay, we know how things are gonna go. So this is a 2 hour film that's packed in a 2.5 hour film, and you're just like, okay, I get it, and I get it. It's like, I'm not really being wowed. Also, they missed on certain classic points of Indiana Jones because they're trying to do all the nostalgia beats, like, oh look, the map, oh look, the classic score from John Williams, oh look, this and that, Indy with the whip and then with the hat. It's like, I get they're trying to do all these things. Which, by the way, the film starts with the de-aging sequence, which we talked about a little bit ago on this channel. I found it to be very distracting because Harrison Ford's voice, I don't know what they did to his voice. I don't know if they did something of some like AI sort of stuff, which I mean, seriously, if that was AI type voice, then that's just ridiculous. Because it sounded like older Harrison Ford. It didn't sound like young Harrison Ford, and also by face, it just did not work at all. Because also, like I said, the CGI is being packed in front of your face. There's no room for practicality, nor usage of practicality. So when you see like Indy on like not to spoil anything, but when you see him on top of a train, it just looks so ridiculous. It looks like a stick figure. It doesn't look organic or anything like that, So I feel like my fears with what this film was going to be ultimately came true. It's a film that's not being handled properly because it's being handled by someone that doesn't know how to handle Indiana Jones. Because only one real person knows Indiana Jones, and that's Spielberg. And this film kind of proves that. Because this, I mean, it is easily the worst of the Indiana Jones films. I know that people will say Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is probably worse, but at least the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull stays true to what the character is and actually gives the character spotlight and actually utilizes practicality and stays more to the heart of what Indy was. This just feels like your generic, like, adventure that just is more or less starring Phoebe Waller-Bridge and less of Harrison Ford. So, like, it's a film that is it's funny because it's a movie about searching for a lasting purpose, and yet the film itself is almost looking for that at the same time, because it just feels purposeless in design. It's like, why did this exist? Why is this here? You know, and the film never really answers that. So I found it to be very bland. I found it to be very disposable. Like, I feel like I'm gonna forget about it in a few days' time, and it's just a excuse for Phoebe Waller-Bridge to potentially start up something down the road, because she's just shoved down your face, and that's just a character that I just do not care about, because I'm not here for that character. I mean, her performance is fine. I mean, the performances in general are not bad. I liked seeing Harrison Ford again as Indy. Obviously, he's doing what he can. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is fun, but I'm not here for that. I'm not here to see Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I'm not here to see her playing around all charismatic. Like, that's meant to be what Harrison Ford's supposed to do. So I get they're trying to do the passing the baton sort of thing, but it's like, I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. I'm here to see Indy's final adventure. And really what I saw was Helena's first adventure. So I felt it was very purposeless. I felt that the usage of visuals really undermined the essence. Like, it really killed the heart of what Indiana Jones is. Indiana Jones is nothing without its practicality. Like, its practicality and its way that it moves through sequences because of it. That's what ultimately makes Indiana Jones so much fun, so much, so distinct in quality. And of course Spielberg himself, being a integral element. So with him not there either, you get more of an impersonation and not much of a necessary entry into this franchise. So the series really ended with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. This is just more, like I said, more of an imposter than of the original flair. So it sucks because I really like Indiana Jones as a franchise. It's my favorite franchise. So to see where it has chosen to end, it's like, I think you had a better ending in the fourth film. Better, obviously, the best ending for India was in the third film, but in terms of where we end, I will take the fourth film over where we ended it here any day, anytime. So, but those are my thoughts on the Dial of Destiny. You guys know your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you guys think of the Dial of Destiny? Did you guys like it? Did you guys not like it? Where do you guys rank it in all the Indiana Jones films? Personally, it is the worst one, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And how do you think this is going to do at the box office? Like I said, my theater was just stone silent, so I don't see this doing well. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I will catch you guys in the next video.